Okay. Good morning, everyone. So, people from online, can you able to hear me? Please confirm me in the chat box once. Okay. Okay. So, thanks for joining. So, from online, is there any new students today? Can you please ping me in the chat box if anyone just joined today? So, people from online, if anyone joined today, please can you please confirm in the chat box? Ranjan. Okay. So, anyone else who just joined today from online? I can see only one new joinee today. Okay, Shrikant, Sadvika 3. Any new joinee other than 3 people? So we have 25, around 24, 25 students. Out of 24, can I assume that only 3 students are new joinees? Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So from offline, can you raise your hands like whoever joins just today? Okay. Not from online, so you can put your hand down. Uh, so let me introduce about the course first, what we were covering here, and then I'll recap the previous class. Okay. People who just joined today, we haven't covered much technically till date. We have covered very basics. Okay. And I will be repeating that anyhow. If not today, I'll be adding a separate session for you, people who missed out the previous session. So nothing to worry about the previous session. We have completed 5 to 6 sessions, but all 5 to 6 sections are repeated. Like whenever the new joinee comes, we're supposed to repeat the session again. Okay. So hardly like not more than one session that we covered new. Okay, and that too we have not entered into the AWS. We have not entered into the AWS till date. So we were just at the basic level. So we were trying to I'm trying to make you understand about what is cloud and all, which are very basics. I will be repeating that. If required, I'll be adding a separate session for who missed the previous session. Okay, if you didn't get or if you are not able to understand, so I will be scheduling a separate session. So nothing to worry about the previous session. Okay. So from online, I can see 3 people who joined today. And from offline, I can see around 5 to 6 people who just joined today. Okay. Whoever joins today, so nothing to worry about the previous session. I'll be recapping it. Okay. So this particular course is for cloud platform. In this particular course, we were discussing 2 modules. One is only AWS. So first we will discuss about AWS in this particular course for around 2 months, around 40 to 50 classes, which we will be discussing about only AWS. People who wanted to learn only AWS, they can enroll for this. Adding to that, along with AWS, we also discuss Azure Cloud Platform, DevOps Terraform tool, and pipeline to deploy these Terraform templates. So this is an adding module. If you are interested to enroll this, you can also enroll this. Or if you wanted to just learn only AWS, you can disconnect after learning AWS. People who wanted to choose along with the AWS this Azure Cloud Platform as well, so they can also choose this. Okay, so these two are two different modules we were covering. So till date, like some of them enrolled for only AWS and they will be learning AWS. First, we will discuss only AWS. After that, people who wanted to continue with Azure Cloud Platform also, again, they can also continue with that, but the price might maybe vary. Only AWS, you might have particular price. Along with AWS, if you wanted to learn Azure Terraform or pipeline scripting, whatever it is, so that is a separate price. It is not mandatory to learn both the courses, both the modules. So according to your feasibility, like which is comfortable to you and how much time that you can allocate to this particular course. For example, if you feel that okay, 40 to 50 classes are more than enough for me to understand first, I just wanted to go with AWS first. Then if time permits, then I wanted to go with some other cloud. Yes, you can go with only AWS. If you have enough time, like okay, I can allocate 3 months or 4 months for this particular course, you can go with AWS plus other multi-cloud what we have. It's not mandatory to that, if you're learning AWS, you have to learn Azure Terraform, whatever it is. Even with AWS also, we can search for the job and we can get the job. The only point is people who interested to learn, like explore the other cloud platform also. So for them, we added this module. It doesn't mean that you have to learn both the courses. Okay. Hope you're clear with this, right? No confusion in this, right? So initially, if you wanted to go with only AWS, you can go with only AWS. No, I wanted to go with multi-cloud. Yes, you can go with multi-cloud as well. So that will be an adding advantage. Okay, learning of AWS is not a disadvantage. If you learn along with the AWS, if you have time, if you can learn the other one, that will be just an advantage. There is no disadvantages of like if I learn only AWS, will I get the job or I won't get the job? So don't get confused. With AWS also, we will be having a lot of opportunities. Okay, so it depends on like if you feel that learning of both becomes burden for me, like at a time I cannot learn, so I can go with the other course later on. You can stick to the AWS. Hope you're all clear. So people from online, I think I can see only 3 people joined today newly. So hope you're all good with what I explained. So for especially people who just joined today, so let me recap what I discussed in last couple of classes. Okay. So in last couple of classes, we started the classes like 5 to 6 days back, or around 6 to 7 sessions we have completed. But all 7 sessions are repeated. Like whatever we discussed on the day one, I have repeated the same on day two. People for who joined new. Whatever I discussed on day two, I have discussed the same thing on day three. From last almost like 6 to 7 classes, we have repeated the same. Whatever I discussed, again, I'm just discussing in it because most of the people are, adding, and I just don't wanted to confuse them, so I'm repeating the same. Even today, we have the new joinees, right? I'll be repeating the same, but I'll along with that repeating the previous session today. I just wanted to add a new point. And still, if you have any doubts or any questions, people who joined today, I will be scheduling a separate session for them. Okay. So I'll be explaining it. So the only concern, that the reason why I'm repeating it is, don't get confused. Don't feel that okay, something is already happened, like we were not discussing it again. We were discussing it again. Till now, we have not done anything on AWS. I'm just preparing the ground. For example, we were trying to learn cloud, right? We were trying to learn AWS or something. We must understand about something about on-premises infrastructure, like what is a server, what is an IP address, what is a cloud, what is a network. There are few basics. In general, like no one will just cover all these basics directly. People will enter into the AWS, but here we were trying to make you understand about all those basics. So the same basics, I'm repeating it for multiple times. Okay. Even if today, if you didn't get understand, we can have a separate session scheduled for it. Hope everyone understood. So who just joined today. So people who joined today. So what is cloud? Like you're trying to learn cloud, or you're interested to learn cloud, right? So something in your mind, like what is cloud? What do you feel? What exactly the cloud is? What do you feel? What exactly the cloud is? So some, you may research something, right, about cloud before learning cloud. So you might have done some research about a cloud. Can I expect some answers from online or offline? What is cloud? I'm not pointing to anyone. If you just know the answer, just tell whatever you feel. It doesn't matter whether it is correct or wrong. The only point is to interact with you. That's it. Clear? Any idea about what is cloud? No idea? Yes. Very good. Anyone else? Anyone else? What is cloud? Yeah, I can see a couple of answers from online as well. Very good. I appreciate you, Sri Reddy, Chaitanya. Very good. I think you're maintaining some notes. That's good. Any answers from offline? Offline? It should be a competition between offline and online. So they were messaging something. They were not here. You should tell something, whatever in your mind. It doesn't matter whether it is correct or wrong. You have to speak. That's it. No idea? Exactly. Anyone else? Anyone else? Any answers? No answers? You're not aware of cloud? Okay. So let's take an examples or take an answers from our messages, people who sent in the chat box, or who answered in the offline. So here Chaitanya said that instead of we maintain an infrastructure, cloud will maintain the infrastructure. Okay. As he said, what is your name? Gopi said that the same thing he said. Like instead of I maintaining the infrastructure, like putting beside to me, like the infrastructure will be somewhere and maintaining it. That is what he said. And Srinivas said that collection of remote services accessing through internet. Yeah, so that is also correct. And what else the answers? Kiran said that the services hosted and used over the internet. So it is also correct. And Chaitanya said that it is pay as you go model. Yes, it is also correct. But the only point is we need to bring it together as a nice statement to explain in the interview. So the common answer what we received from everyone, instead of we maintaining an infrastructure, service provider will maintain the infrastructure. That is the common answer that we received, right? How many of them aware of remote desktop? Chrome remote desktop or something. You aware of it, right? You aware of it? Chrome remote desktop. So for example, I have a computer. The computer is physically in front of me. You wanted to access this computer. So from your laptop. So what you will do? You will open your laptop. You will install some Chrome remote desktop or something. You will ask some code or whatever IP address or code or something, and you will be connecting to my computer from your location, isn't it? So there is a, for example, this is a computer. It is with me. Now you all wants to connect to my computer. Simply you will be opening your laptop and you will be opening some remote desktop or something. From here, you will be connecting to here, isn't it? And you can do whatever you want. You can, if you want to download something or if you want to install something, whatever you want, you can do it. Right. So now, in your point of view, from for example, from this point of view, that is nothing but cloud. Because you are not maintaining this computer. This computer is maintained by me. It is with me physically. But you all can connect it to virtually to that. So whatever the statement that they all pass, is it correct or not? Instead of you maintaining your infrastructure, someone else will maintain that. It means instead of you maintaining your infrastructure, in this case, I am maintaining the infrastructure. I might have 10 computers with me. I might have 10 computers with me. I can put all the computers here. You wanted a Windows machine. I can provide a Windows machine to you, the credentials. You can log into your Windows machine. The Windows machine will be maintained by me, but you can connect to that machine and you can do whatever you want. That's it. That is nothing but a cloud. The statement what everyone is passing is, instead of you maintaining your infrastructure, service provider will maintain the infrastructure. In my case, I am the service provider because I am providing you the service. If you want 4 GB RAM, Windows operating system, let me know. I'll be giving you a machine. The machine will be with me, but you can connect to the machine. The same thing, even cloud will also do. Understood? So, whatever the statement that everyone passes is, instead of we maintaining an infrastructure, someone else is maintaining the infrastructure. So, that is called cloud. So, that is the one statement. Now, let's talk about one more example with this. Remote desktop example, you all understood? Because we all use remote desktop many times. Many times we'll use remote desktop. I mean, people who are very freshers, they might not use, but people who have some 1 year or 2 years of experience, they might aware of it. Remote desktop is on in our laptops. Just the only thing is we have to open it in the Google Chrome remote desktop and entering the details which is given by someone and connecting to that computer. If you're not aware of Chrome remote desktop, AnyDesk, TeamViewer, we will use that to connect to the other machine. We can do anything in other machine by sitting in your home. It means finally it giving you a functionality what the physical machine when it is with you. Even the machine is not with you, it is located in somewhere, but you can use it. So that is called virtual. Instead of you going to the machine and accessing it, you are sitting in your home and accessing it. If I talk about interviews, nowadays we are all giving a virtual interviews. We are not going to the location. We are not going to that office. We are sitting in our home and we are giving an interview. So what do we call it as? We can call it as virtual interview only, right? So cloud is a virtualization concept. It means nothing you are maintaining physically with you. Whatever you want, you will be connecting to that virtually. Virtually means without going to that particular location. It means if an interview got scheduled for me, I'm not going to the particular location there. Simply sitting in home, connecting to that office portal and attending an interview. So that is called virtual. Hope you are clear with these two statements, with these two examples. Now, if I talk about some example technically, which I explained couple of times from last few days. Google Drive. How many of them knows Google Drive? Everyone knows Google Drive. We all knows Google Drive. Why do we use Google Drive? To store the data. How much data that we can store it in Google Drive? We all know that we are using Google Drive to store the data. How much data that we can store it in Google Drive? By default, we'll get some 15 GB or 20 GB of free tier limit. More than that, how much GB that you want, you can store it. We have to pay for it. Here, along with the statement, instead of you maintaining an infrastructure, someone else will maintain. And there is a other statement which we got from someone from Chaitanya. It is pay as you go model. Can I say that Google Drive is pay as you go model? Because the statement pay as you go model means how much you use, you will pay for it. So Google Drive is also same, right? If I use 100 GB, I'll pay for 100 GB. If I use 200 GB, I'll pay for 200 GB, right? So here, when I'm talking about pay as you go model, and especially when I'm talking about Google Drive, as we all know that Google Drive is to store the data. Okay, I'm storing the data. So to store the data, what I'm doing? Okay, I want to store some data in Google Drive. What is the first step that I have to do? We have to open account. Once we logged into the account, we will be navigating to a particular Google Drive service, and you will be uploading the data into the Google Drive. Am I right? Whenever you upload some data into the Google Drive, where it is getting stored? It is not storing in our laptop. Whenever you click on upload and whenever you uploaded a file, then where our data is getting stored? Others? Others? What do you mean by data center? Earlier, I told you an example, right? I'm maintaining a 10 machines and you people are accessing to my machines. It means I'm maintaining a data center with 10 computers. Am I right or not? I'm maintaining a 10 computers and my room call it as a data center. Similarly, when you upload some data into the Google Drive, that particular file should get stored in some machine. Understood? Whenever I uploaded some file in Google Drive, in the backend, it should get stored in some machine. It is not getting stored in our laptop, but it should get stored in some machine. But the machine is not with us, isn't it? When I uploaded some file into the Google Drive, it should definitely get stored in some machine, because it won't get stored in air or in clouds or in somewhere, right? It has to be stored in some particular machine. That machine is not maintained by us. Who will be maintaining that machine? Google will maintain the service page, that particular machine. Understood? So whenever I say that, instead of we maintaining our infrastructure, service provider is maintaining. If I talk an example of Google Drive, whenever we upload the data, definitely it has to be uploaded physically at somewhere. But instead of we maintaining our infrastructure, service provider is maintaining that. Who is the service provider in the case of Google Drive? Google is the service provider. Clear, right? Simply that is called cloud. Nothing more than this. You might have a different services, you might have different use cases, you might have many things, but the underlying concept is nothing about this, nothing much. Okay, because Without having a physical infrastructure, there is no cloud. Earlier, what we supposed to do is, uh, whenever I want a computer is nothing but a machine, right? It can be a server. Whenever I wanted to host some application or anything in my office, I wanted to have a separate room, and I supposed to maintain a machine, and I always need to check that machine power backups and all. But later on, when the cloud enters into the market, instead of we are maintaining a machine, we are simply signing up into the AWS portal. We were just creating whatever we want, and AWS is maintaining our, or Azure is maintaining our machines. So for that reason, we always call cloud is nothing but, instead of you maintaining your infrastructure, service provider will maintain that. That means we are taking the infrastructure for rental basis. If I am maintaining the infrastructure, for example, you don't require a computer today. You require a computer for 1 month or 5 days or 6 days. I have a 10 computers. You called me and I gave you an access to a computer. You will be connecting to my computer remotely and you will be paying a rental for me. It means you are not investing anything there. If you feel that, okay, for these 10 days, I mean, no one is available to give a computer to me. What do you have to do? You have to buy a computer. It means you have to spend a 50,000 rupees there. If it is very small requirement, we are talking about 50,000 rupees. We are talking about 50,000 rupees. But if the requirement is huge, I wanted to host a Flipkart application. When I wanted to host a Flipkart application, I wanted to have an infrastructure. I wanted to have a servers. If I maintain it my own, the problems is I want to set up an infrastructure first, which includes a lot of investment. Along that, I want to maintain that. It includes a lot of cost. And if I feel that I didn't get a project, or I didn't get a project what I expected, or if I lost the project, so what will happen to your investment? Loss. No, instead of doing or maintaining anything, simply just signing up into the Google account. The way how you will use Google Drive. So if I feel that I might have a 10 GB or 1 TB or 2 TB, if you're not going with Google Drive, you purchase an hardware, you purchase an 1 TB hard disk. After that, you felt that, okay, my storage is not 1 TB, it is 1.5 TB. So what will happen? Again, you have to buy a new hard disk. It means you're investing a money there. Okay, if you feel that I don't want to invest a money, simply just signing up into the Google account, going to the Google Drive, uploading the data. It means you're not putting any investment there. How much you use, you'll be paying for it. Am I right or not? Similarly, if you require machines to host some Abibus application or Flipkart application or anything, so if you are going with an on-premises infrastructure, on-premises infrastructure means physical infrastructure on premises. Premises means where we stay. If I'm maintaining the infrastructure in my premises, so that is called on-premises infrastructure. If I go with an on-premises infrastructure, I want to procure all this. I want to procure the servers, switches, routers, cables, room, admin should be there, power backup should be there, power bill should be there. The lot of investment that we supposed to have. If it is a normal hard disk or something like it, just a 5,000 or 10,000 rupees matter. If I buy a 1 TB hard disk, if I feel that it is not enough, I can spend another 5,000 rupees or 4,000 rupees. But when I came to the huge infrastructure, if I spend 10 lakhs to build my infrastructure, if I feel that it is not sufficient, for example, whenever we are in the colleges, we all buy the laptops to practice C language or to practice Python or to practice something. But honestly, we won't do that. We will just watch the movies. That's what everyone, like with me also it happens. Whenever I'm buying a laptop, whenever my father asks me that, I supposed to say that lot of list, like I wanted to practice this, I wanted to install this, I wanted to do this. Finally, I'll end up with watching the movies. So because of the use case, if we don't know properly, how much loss that we can get whenever we are buying a laptop? Minimum 10,000 rupees. Because to watch a movie is 30,000 rupees laptop is fine. But if you wanted to install a photo studio or video application, or if you wanted to edit the videos or something, you have to spend 50 to 60,000 rupees of a laptop. And if you bought for a different use case, and if you're using for a different use case, we are getting at 15,000 or 20,000 rupees of loss when we're talking about very small requirement. But if I talk a huge requirement like Abibus application and Flipkart application, assume that how much loss that we can get. It will be in a lakhs, right? That is what will happen. So in those cases, instead of going with all this, we can go with a cloud infrastructure. You don't need to invest anything here. Whatever you want, you can just spin up. Whatever you don't want, you can delete it. So learning of cloud is nothing but AWS or Azure or whatever the cloud platform. It offers different services. For example, what Google account offers for us? Google account offers Gmail, Google Drive, spreadsheets, Google Classroom, Google Chart, Whiteboard, different services that Google account offers for us, right? Similarly, so these are the software as a services. They were just putting a software and we were using it. But whenever we are talking about AWS or Azure, Google account is just offering software as a services, SaaS, which is just a software. We can use whatever you want. But AWS account or Azure account or GCP account, it offers infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Infrastructure as a service means, for example, if I need a computer, the computer required some infrastructure. But if I'm not maintaining that infrastructure, I'm using that AWS as infrastructure. That is called infrastructure as a service. Understood? Platform as a service. For example, I required a platform to build a Python application. Instead of I'm building the platform from the scratch, AWS offers a platform. I will deploy my application there. That's how it also offers infrastructure as a service, platform as a service. As PaaS, IaaS, BaaS. You will be understanding what are the different services it offers and all in the coming classes, but on a high level. So now, did you understand the advantage of using of cloud in a layman language? Not about too technical. Don't think about too technical. It's my responsibility to take you into the technical things. I'm not using any technical words or I'm not explaining any technical here. My only intention is you should able to understand the concept, not about the services which offers in cloud. That anyway we will explore the service, we will do the practical. You can able to understand that. But whenever if you're talking to someone in your organization or people who are not aware of cloud or people who are experienced, we should not be like, you know, as a fresher, like, we don't know anything. What is a server? What is an IPS? We should not be like that. We should be talk to them very maturely. It means whenever they're talking about a cloud, we should not answer that cloud is a storage, cloud is a server. That kind of answers that we should not answer. We should understand the underlying concept. Whenever someone talks about cloud, you should simply say that. So what rocket science in it? Cloud is just, instead of we maintaining the infrastructure, he is maintaining the infrastructure. We were just using it. That is nothing but a cloud. It can be a storage or it can be a server or it can be anything. Instead of we maintaining a physical infrastructure, they were maintaining it. That's it. That is about cloud. Understood? To make you more flexible with this, I'll tell you another example. Long back, we all supposed to use a physical infrastructure. It means even it is a single, I mean, less RAM or less CPU or use RAM or use CPU, every company is supposed to have a data centers, on premises data centers. Even if you remember your colleges or somewhere, everywhere we supposed to have a server room. Mostly in our colleges, whenever we had a problem with IT, like Wi-Fi registration, or whenever you wanted to meet an IT persons, whenever you go there, there will be a room with the cables and everything. There will be a server room, like outdoors will not be allowed into it. That's how everyone's supposed to manage a physical infrastructure. But the problem with that is, see, if I have an idea of build a Flipkart application, so what is my product there? My product is Flipkart application. My whole concentration should be on a Flipkart application. How I can take it into the market, what features that I can add into the Flipkart, what products that I can add into the Flipkart, how can I enhance my Flipkart application. That is what my concentration is. But whenever you are maintaining a physical infrastructure, your concentration are diverting into physical infrastructure, not onto your product. Understood? Whenever wanted to build an application, my aim is to bring that application to the market and more famous. But whenever we are maintaining an on-premises infrastructure, maintaining an on-premises infrastructure is becoming a biggest challenge for me. I'm not able to concentrate on my product. Understood? In these cases, before cloud comes into the market, there are a lot of companies enters into the market, and they says that you don't maintain your infrastructure, I will maintain your infrastructure, pay me a rental basis. Like you can hear about the companies like Control S. There are a lot of companies enters into the market, then they're supposed to maintain the infrastructure. And whoever needs an infrastructure, they're supposed to contact them, and they will be giving a like the way how I said, if I'm maintaining a 10 laptops, and if I'm giving an access to a single laptop to you, that's how they're supposed to maintain a big machines, and they'll be giving a virtualization to us other companies. After that, the cloud enters into the market with no human intervention. You don't need to talk to anyone. Simply sign up into the AWS account, create whatever you want. Automatically, it will allocate a space to you. Understood? That's how the cloud enters into the market. Now, you understood about what is cloud? Everyone. No confusion, right? At least one or two statements you can remember about what is cloud. And you understood about what is pay-as-you-go model. No confusion in it. And if I talk about what is AWS, AWS is nothing but a cloud platform. But cloud technology offers by different companies. Like for example, internet offers by different companies. Act will offer, Hathway will offer, Geo will offer. The concept of everything, the concept is same, but there might be a few differences with respect to that particular service provider. They might say that we are using some copper, or we are using some high speed, or whatever it is. So here also, Amazon provides AWS, Microsoft provides Azure, and Google provide GCP. Learning of these cloud platforms are very simple, very, very simple. The reason is, here we are not inventing anything which was not there. I'm not developing any new feature in cloud or new feature in AWS, or I'm not developing a new cloud here. The only thing what we were doing is, if I talk about Amazon Web Services, there are multiple services offered by a particular cloud platform. We were just learning those services. I'm not developing a new service here. I'm just using the services which is offered by that particular cloud platform. So what we do, we will pick up a service, and we will see what exactly the service is. and where we can use this service in the real time. What is the real time use case of that? How we can configure it? Only that. I'm not developing a new service here, right? We have no option to develop a new service. We only have option to learn the services which is already developed, which is already have the documentation, which is already using in the market. The only thing, the difference between you and me is, since I'm working on that particular services, I know the service, I know where it is using. You don't know about the service, you don't know how to use. That is what I'm sharing with you. Understood? We are not learning any rocket science here. We are just learning the services which is already implemented. We were learning what it is and how to configure it. Where we can use that service, how you can use this service. We were learning these two principles. Whenever there is a service, where we can use this service, what is the real-time use case of it, how we can use this service. So that is the reason. What I can say is, learning of cloud platform is very much easy when you compared with learning of Java or .NET or some other technology. So that is one advantage. The second advantage is, if today if you guys are working with Amazon Web Services, if you're good with AWS and you got a job with AWS, if you look at the market strategy, earlier people supposed to use an on-premises infrastructure and they are migrating to the cloud infrastructure. Still, few guys are using on-premises infrastructure. People who are using a cloud infrastructure, they will never go back to the on-premises infrastructure. That is for sure. But people who are using an on-premises infrastructure, they might come to the cloud infrastructure. That is for sure. Even if it not happens today, within 4 or 5 years, even 80% of people are using on cloud today. In next couple of 5 years or next 5 years, 100% people will move to the cloud. No one is having patience to maintain their own infrastructure physically. If they want more security, they are contacting to the cloud and they were saying that maintain our infrastructure separately, don't combine with others. That is what they're saying, because no one is having a patience to maintain or servers in their premises. We know like how office premises are being there in nowadays. Earlier, we supposed to have a big campus. In that big campus, we supposed to have an IT department separating, maintaining an infrastructure. Now, hardly it's a single floor or 2 floors or 3 floors or 4 floors, which is completely occupied by the employees. No infrastructure is maintaining in on-premises. That is one advantage. The second advantage, people might not come back to cloud to on-premises. If I'm using AWS, I might jump into Azure if I feel Azure is good, or I might jump into GCP. GCP if GCP is good. Even if you go with AWS or GCP or Azure, any cloud platform, the concept is the same. The concept is the same. If you take my career as an example, I started my career with AWS. Today I can work with Azure, I can work with GCP. Understood? Whenever you are good at one particular AWS or one particular cloud platform, and if you started working in it, if you got 1 year or 2 years of experience in it, obviously you will be learning, you can able to work with other cloud platform as well. Nothing stops you. It means for next 10 years, if we enter into the cloud and if you can able to get the opportunity in cloud for next years, it doesn't matter what cloud platform is using in the market. Our job is secure. Understood? So that is the biggest advantage. Okay. Now, when I talk about the differences, apart from the technical differences, the many people are interested to learn AWS, and around 100%, 40 to 50, 40 to 45% minimum people are using AWS, and another 60 to 55 to 50% is used by other multiple cloud platforms. Learning of AWS, using of AWS is something like using of your Android mobile. which is very easy. You won't have any complicated things in our AWS account. So at the same time, AWS offers more free time, like more free tier limits. If you selected a personal account, they won't debit anything from your account. But Azure GCP, they are very strict by detecting the amounts. And one more thing which I face, I'll be using both AWS console and Azure console. What I felt is, our Windows mobiles, right? Whenever you're using a Windows mobile, you'll feel some difficulty. The options, what we have, the style that what we have. AWS looks like Android, which is very flexible to use. Azure and GCP will looks like some kind of a Windows mobile, which is little bit, habituate that console. Once you habituate the console, again it will be easy. So these are the differences that we have. Other than that, only the service names will get differed. If I wanted to create a server in AWS, I might call it as instance. In Azure, I might call it as virtual machine. In AWS, I might call it as S3 for storage. I might call it as cloud storage for storage. We might have a different names. Understood? So these are the advantages of code. And the third advantage is, even if you develop even if you work as application developer or web application developer or whatever the developer it can be, end of the day, where your code should get deployed. You developed a code, end of the day, where your code should get deployed, on a particular machine it should get deployed, and where that particular machine will be there, in any other cloud platform. End of the day, whatever the coding or whatever you do, it should be located or deployed in some particular infrastructure, right? So that infrastructure is being there in the cloud itself. You might aware of Java, you might aware of .NET, or you might aware of any other programming language. Adding cloud technology in your resume will be a biggest advantage. It will be a biggest advantage. Nowadays in organization, you might work with Java. They were asking a combination of any one cloud platform. You might work with Python. They're asking a combination of any other cloud platform. So that when I'm writing a code, when I want to deploy it on some particular machine, if I have an idea on infrastructure, that will be easy for me to deploy it, right? So for that, cloud is becoming a mandatory for us. Clear? Did I say anything wrong? I was just trying to explain like whatever we see in the market. Nothing more than that. Clear? Any questions? Are you good? Any confusion? To just the high level, like what is cloud? The rest of the things, leave it to me. It's my responsibility to make you understand. Okay. Whatever I explain, just stick to that. Try to remember that. Okay. Whenever you started something, you might hear many things from a different persons. Like did you know this? Did you know this? Did you know that? Did you know that? Don't get confused. Slowly we will learn everything. But my style of teaching is very slow. If you remember, like whatever the statement that I am telling you, I'm repeating it multiple times, multiple times, multiple times. If I repeat it 5 times, if you can remember it one time, that would be great. Understood? Initially, it looks very easy. If you feel that, it will be easy for the rest of the classes as well. But we just need to concentrate on it. That's it. Not more than that. You just concentrate on the subject. Rest of the things, leave it to me. I will be helping you to understand. If you do not understand anything, come to me. I'll repeat it again. Even if it is a single service, we will discuss it for 5 classes or 4 classes. It doesn't matter. If we have 25 students or 30 students in class, all these 30 students or 35 students should reach our point, should able to understand it. Even if one is not getting understand, I'll repeat it again. The same thing I'm doing it from last couple of days. I'm repeating the same concept for multiple times. People who already attended the previous sessions, they can feel bored, they can get bored, but there is no disadvantage in it. There is only advantage in it. Even if you're listening it for 10 times, We might have classes 10 days more. That is not a biggest problem. We might extend the classes for 10 days more. That is not at all problem. But while leaving the class, by completing the batch, you should not be in a confused state. You should be very clear. That is what my agenda. If you are not able to understand, whenever I'm discussing it in the group, people you are online or offline, you can just come to the institute. People on online, like you didn't understand one single point or one single service. If you feel that, I just wanted to have a one-on-one with sir, come to me. I'll be explaining it to you one-on-one, that particular service. But try to interact with me. It doesn't matter whether it is question right or wrong. Just talk something. Whenever you try to express something, you will remember it. Talk something. Whether it is the right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I won't remember who told right or who told wrong. It doesn't matter for us. The only point is we all should interact with each other and we should learn. It should not be like a YouTube session where like I'm explaining something and you're just listening and leaving. Understood? If you're just listening and leaving, you can listen to the YouTube. You don't need to come to the class, right? So it should be like interacting with each other. Clear? Good. So we will park it here today. Okay. Just try to understand whatever the basics that I explained. Tomorrow we will just jump into the new concept. So people from online, so raise your hand if you have any question. Chaitanya, I allowed you to talk. Chaitanya, you're on mute. Srinivas, I allowed you to talk.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Srinivas.
Sir, that premises is nothing but you were saying where you stay. On premises is nothing but local, sir, not for cloud.
ఆన్ ప్రిమిసెస్ అంటే మనం ఉండే ప్లేస్ లో ఒక రూమ్ సెటప్ చేసుకుని మెయింటైన్ చేసుకోవడాన్ని ఆన్ ప్రిమిసెస్ అంటాం అంతే.
Not for cloud.
కాదు, ఆన్ ప్రిమిసెస్ అంటే మన ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ మనమే మెయింటైన్ చేసుకుంటే దాన్ని ఆన్ ప్రిమిసెస్ అంటాం.
Okay.
ఓకే,
Yeah,
క్లియర్ శ్రీనివాస్?
yeah, thank you, sir.
ఓకే ఓకే. So mostly, I mean, online, like they were listening this from last couple of classes, they might not have more questions. So people from online, any questions? So people from online, if you have anything, raise your hand. Chaitanya, I allowed you to talk. Please unmute and talk. I can't hear you, Chaitanya. Swati, I allowed you to talk.
Yeah, hi sir. Good morning.
Good
Am I
morning.
audible?
Yes, it is audible.
Yeah, actually I just joined today a little bit late. So
Oh.
I'm like, want to make sure like whether it will affect on my course or whether it
It
will
won't
be
affect anything. We were at very basic. Okay. Anyway, we will
Okay.
recap it tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Chaitanya, Prakash, I allowed you to talk.
Yeah, hello sir. Yeah,
Chaitanya.
అదే సార్ నిన్న అన్నారు కదా స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేయమని.
Yes. So, one second. Yeah, share your screen now. Let me give you the permissions. Yes, you can share now. Anusha, yes, classes are from Monday to Friday. Chaitanya, you can share your screen.
ఎస్ సార్, అది ఆప్షన్ రాలేదు ఇక్కడ.
రావాలి మరి. I'll do one thing. I'll send my email, send me a screenshot, or else do one thing, send your AWS account credentials to Arif. Arif is there, right?
ఓకే సార్.
Send your AWS account credentials to him, so he'll share it to me. I'll just log in and I'll verify it. Okay.
ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Okay. Karna, I allowed you to talk.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Karna.
Sir, when will the class start, sir, exactly? AWS.
I didn't get you, Karna.
When will the class start, exact date, sir?
So maybe next 1-2 classes we will recap all this. Maybe from Tuesday, Wednesday we will completely enter into the AWS.
Okay. Now
Okay.
I'm leaving you online. On the time I will get off.
Sure. You can.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going on mute, so I'll clear the doubts for offline. Thanks for joining us. We can connect again on Monday.